I mean, if this works, this could end up being the healthiest pizza out there. Do you like pizza? Because I love pizza, but of course traditionally pizza isn't like a health food. I think usually when we think of pizza, we think of those fast food pizzas that are very delicious, but maybe don't make us look and feel our best. However, I recently came across a recipe for a red lentil crust pizza, and I have to say I'm intrigued because if this works and it tastes good, then we can have a gluten-free pizza that is protein rich and fiber rich and whole food plant-based, a pizza where I can eat the whole entire thing, which I may or may not do, in one sitting and still feel great. Game changer. So today's recipe comes from This Healthy Kitchen. Of course, the original recipe link will be in the description box down below, and I have everything I need right here. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So today's superhero ingredient, as I mentioned, is our red lentils. Red lentils are not only a great source of protein and fiber, but they're usually pretty inexpensive. I usually get mine in bulk from Costco because I found that buying in bulk does bring the price down even more. But even at the regular grocery store, dried red lentils are very inexpensive. And the recipe says to make sure that they are the split red lentils, not whole red lentils, and then also, of course, that they are dried and uncooked. Next, we're going to preheat the oven to 450 degrees on the convection setting if you have it. And I really like this recipe already because we didn't even need to pre-soak the red lentils or anything like that. We're just gonna put all the ingredients right into the blender and blend it, and that is our pizza dough batter. So for today's recipe, we need 3/4 cup dry red lentils. Next, we need 3/4 cup water, 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of basil, 1/2 teaspoon oregano, and 3/4 teaspoon salt. And these are just the seasonings that are recommended in the recipe, but I'm sure you could adjust the seasonings to your taste preferences. Like for example, I'm substituting the basil and oregano with just a regular Italian seasoning because that's all I have. And usually an Italian seasoning should have oregano and basil in it already. And now here are your tips for this recipe according to the website. Number 1, make sure your batter is evenly spread. Since these are raw red lentils that haven't been cooked and they are going to be cooked once you put them in the oven, you definitely want it spread as evenly as possible. If you have any areas that are too thick, it will be very soft and not cooked all the way through. And if you have any areas that are too thin, those will cook a lot faster and get crispy and or burnt if it's really, really thin. Tip 2, use convection bake if your oven has it. This will run the fan in your oven, which helps circulate the air and supposedly heats your oven more evenly, and I guess will also help with even baking. The third tip is to not forget the parchment paper because that is what is going to help us flip over our pizza crust, which we will need to do halfway through cooking. And the last tip is to hit the like button if you found these tips helpful because it does really help on my channel and helps bring more healthy recipes to more people. Thank you. And now we are just going to bake this at 450 convection for 12 minutes on this first side. Okay, mine did have a little bit of trouble peeling off of the parchment paper to flip over. I feel like maybe that is because my oven runs really hot. This new oven is like, it's hot. So I think that maybe next time I would personally have to turn my oven down a little bit, probably to 425, and not get it so crispy right away. Also, maybe I thinned it out a bit too much and that's why it was really crispy around the edges already. I think that's another thing I would do for next time is to not thin it out too much on the edges. But now it's going back in the oven for another 3 to 5 minutes. Since my oven runs hot, I'm going to check it after 3 minutes and probably it'll be done after that. And then we can just add our sauce and our toppings. For my pizza toppings, I'm just doing a little bit of tomato paste mixed with water and herbs and a little bit of barbecue sauce for a little extra flavor. I kind of like that tomato barbecue sauce combo. And then I'm also adding some spicy peppers, mushrooms, tomatoes, and red onion. And actually, as I'm doing the toppings on this pizza, I'm very curious, are you guys team pineapple on your pizza or team no pineapple on your pizza? Let me know in the comments down below, but keep it civil. I know this can be a very controversial debate. Mine got very crispy in that last 2 minutes in the oven. Just the part where I put it back in to get all of my toppings hot. Got a little burned on the edge, so I just cut that part off and now it's looking okay. I think, like I said, my oven runs really hot. Next time, I don't think it needs to be at 450. And also maybe I just made it a little bit too thin to begin with. So maybe a little bit thicker around the edges is better. But let's go ahead and cut this and try it. I mean, if nothing else, I am super impressed that this whole entire crust is made of lentils. Oh no. Casualties. I'm gonna have so many toppings on my floor after this. It was pretty good. The middle part actually got soft again once I added on the sauce and toppings. So actually that made the texture really good and kind of like a pizza dough. Like it almost has like a familiar chew of the bread of pizza, but there's no wheat in this. This is crazy. This is really good. And I personally love crispy edges. So having the outside of this have those crispy edge bits, perfection. I am noticing a little bit of layer separation. I think that when I flipped over the crust, some of it stuck to the parchment paper and I just pulled a little bit too roughly and kind of separated those layers. So just maybe let it cool a little bit on the parchment paper before you try and turn it over, because I think that ripping it really aggressively off of the parchment paper is maybe what made this layer separate. You know, other than that, it actually is staying together pretty well as a pizza. And the flavor is really good. The texture is pretty decent. Like I said, I like the soft middle and the crispy edges. I'm definitely gonna make this again. It's healthy, it's oil-free, it's whole food plant-based, it's protein and fiber packed. I actually even think it might be better than the oatmeal pizza crust I did last year, which, by the way, if you wanna check out that video, I'm gonna link it right here. You can watch that after this one if you wanna compare. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let's eat plants, and I will see you guys next time.